Right guys, this is going to be a 100k Nightfall solo on the Warden of Nothing. For those that just want to see the run, then skip to the time on the screen. For the rest of you, I can show you my loadout, subclass and weapons. So first of all, the modifiers. So we're doing Legend. If you are 1030 or close to 1030, you can go ahead and do a solo on the Master. You'll be able to do that. But if you're somebody that's leveling up, okay, and you just want a pinnacle drop, you don't want to play in a fire team, then just do it on Legend. There's plenty of score to get in this one. Okay, so the modifiers are Scorched Earth, Shocker, Champions All, so we have every champion to deal with this week. Equipment locked as normal. With match game, the shields that you need to prioritise is mainly Void and Solar. There's no arc, there's one arc shielded one target, but you're not dealing with him anyways, especially on a solo. You just let him disappear. But it's predominantly Void in this. As for our loadout, we're on a Warlock. You can do a solo on this, on a Titan, on a Hunter. They all can be done this week. You just need to do a build around it. I mean, I didn't even use the War Mine cells. You can build a run round that as well. There's different ways you can do this, but right now I'm on a Warlock, Well of Radiance, with Solar Grenade and a Healing Rift, pairing that with Phoenix Protocol so we get as many wells up as we can. As for our weapons and the modifiers to deal with the champions, we've got Unstoppable Hand Cannon on, Anti-Barrier that's built within Eriana's Vow, and Disrupting Blade on our Void Swords. We've got Void Solar there. My armor stats, none of it's optimized. The main thing that you want to worry about on a solo in this is ammo. Ammo is important, so you need perks to help you out with that. So I've got light arm reserves on my Phoenix Protocol. If you do have a Void Phoenix Protocol, or you can just change the element, have it double hand cannon reserves, and then on your boots make sure you've got special ammo scavenger or hand cannon scavenger on, and that'll just ensure you get a little bit more ammo for Eriana's Vow, because if you're killing a lot of champions and if you run out of ammo and you've got no more ammo left and you've got 4 or 5 champions left, it's not going to go down well. You're going to have to wait until you get ammo to kill them. This isn't a speed intensive run, but you do need to go, you need to be efficient in what you're doing, but it's not a speed run by any means. Okay, so that's the build and everything.
Escaped inmates are going to town.
Okay, so with this run I'll be providing me with full commentary, as it's a new Nightfall for Ordeals, and it's the first time we've had anti-barriers, unstoppable and overloads in one Nightfall, so I just thought it was worth doing a commentary run on it for one time, since I sort of don't do them these days. So with this first section, you're going to be 3 goblins, nothing to that, just take those out.
Prison of Elders.
And then what you want to do is sort of take the first section, sort of back here. See, I screwed my nade up there, but the intention is to nade where they all are standing. You can sort of use cover and use a healing rift back here. Before you approach the Minotaur, which it will be overload, so we get an overloaded Minotaur straight away. Before you sort of approach him, take down all the goblins. Don't try to take out the Minotaur while dealing with the goblins, because that's where you're going to get your wipes. So you want to make sure you relatively have a lot of health. You can guard while they're sort of rushing you. That's a good way of dealing with it. Then just R1 swing. That's all you need to do. You can sort of stagger them as he's coming to you. You can do a heavy attack which staggers him before he's overloaded, then hit him with light attacks. That's a way of doing it. So there's sort of different ways of dealing with it, but it's not really hard to take down the champions with a sword. You'll find it's a lot easier than using, say, Eriana's Vow to take out anti-barriers or something like that. It just makes the overloaded champions, which was the hardest champions for me, now the easiest ones. So if you do sort of have that section where there's 2 goblins, make sure you put damage into them before the train hits them. If the train hits them before you do any tick damage to them, you won't get points, you'll lose out. Just make sure you're aware of that. Okay, so with this section we're going to have a Hydra, which isn't random, he always spawns up, which is good as they're worth a lot of points. I usually do a solar nade on it. With Eriana's Vow having anti-barrier built within it, we can easily take out the Hydra. Okay, so now we have a void shield to deal with, which you can just take down with the sword. No problem. You can take out the minor adds. We'll have another void minotaur up ahead, which I'll just bait out when he jumps down, which you'll see now. Same again, just do everything efficiently. Take out the minor adds first before you deal with the minotaur. Different ways you can get to the next section. You can either sparrow past all the trains like this. I was going to run over the top, but it's not worth it. You're looking to gain time more than score with this, since you're going to be killing a lot of adds anyways, so there's no point to optimize your score too much. Not to that level anyways. Okay, so I was fortunate here. The Unstoppable landed on the train tracks, so I decided to stop him on the train tracks so the train could kill him, which did as so. And he just had to speed that up a little bit. But obviously if that didn't happen, which is unlikely to happen, okay, then you would just stop him with your hand cannon, and you can either take him out with Erianas or even a sword on them. If you do kill him with a sword, they won't explode as well, which is good, because you take a lot of damage off that. For example, if you take them out with Eriana's Vow and you're right next to them, they'll explode and more than likely kill you. So that's kind of nice with a sword. They'll just evaporate, sort of like when you kill adds with a fusion. So you want to take out these adds first. You don't want to push past these stairs. Okay, first thing you want to do is use Eriana's, get the Hydra weak. I don't want to kill the Hydra because I want to use him for super energy. We'll pop our well right here. It's the best spot, and you want to just sort of sit behind these tracks. You don't want to push up as there's a lot of adds spawn and trains are going past. You just want to stay here, but just make sure you try and tag as many adds as you can. Like for example there, I missed 2 goblins. It's easy to miss score in here, but just be aware to try and tag, you know, right and left side, while trying to get as much super energy as you can while you're in your well. So we've got 67% from that, which isn't too bad, as we want to work towards our next well for the next section when we push up. I didn't deal with the anti-barrier at all because I was focusing on super energy entirely, as we'll deal with him once we're dealt with all the goblins in middle. Do a healing rift here. Okay, so once we're comfortable with that, we can then take down the goblin. You're pretty much easy to take out. Once a train has passed, that's when you should be going. Unless you know the specific timing on the trains, I would wait until the trains went past and then move up to middle. I usually come behind here for middle, and I was just basically waiting on my next well. Now with the Minotaurs, they obviously stand at the back of the room, but what I was wanting to do was have the Minotaur push me while I'm in my well on this side of the tracks, which does work. So we've got a well here, and we can kind of optimize it without going over the other side. It's also important that you try and kill all the adds quickly, so that you can get the boss to spawn in on you. And that way he spawns right on top, so we can do a little sword damage on him. I've got loads of sword ammo, heavy on the floor as well, so I wanted to utilize as much damage. Now this boss here, you can get a lot of adds to spawn. He has like 4 or 5 phases of goblins, and a lot of them are orange bars, so you can get more score than what I did here. But it's the same thing again, you want to get a time gain. If you're leaving this room with 10 minutes, you're too slow. Okay, you want to be sub 10. You want to leave this room. That's why I just opted to kill him, tag any adds before they sort of despawn, so you can get the score off them. It's the same mechanic as with the trains. If a train wipes an ad before you tag him, you don't get score. Same with ads. If they despawn because you've got to the next checkpoint, quickly get some shots into them for that additional score. So if you're leaving that room with 40k, roundabout, I would say even 36, 37, then you're on track. There's also more opportunities to get even more score in this. Let's first take out the 2 snipers. And you can deal with the 3 Cabal, come out the dropships. What's unfortunate about this one is usually on my strat is I'll have a well of Radiance for now. Because this particular run of mine was quicker than usual, I didn't have a well. But usually what I would do is have a well at the entrance of that door. I would pop a well there, and then I would start killing to make it a little quicker. But it still worked out this way. What I've done is let the champion come as far as he could to me to block off the rest of the orange bars, so I could take him out with a sword safely and then deal with the orange bars. It's best to play this room slow as well, so if you've got plenty of Eriana's Vow, it speeds it up, you know. It's basically a sniper, so you can just one-shot all the Centurions and whatnot. You don't want to go too quick in this room, since we're wanting the one-hit target to leave, as he is dangerous. The moves he does when he blinds you and then gets you caught in his attack, so that's not what you want to do. Once you've cleared all those ads, another place is if you stand here and do a nade, all the ads will stand in your nade, so you can get a bit of damage out of that. But it's good cover right here, probably the best cover in this room. The ads group up nicely and the one-hit target can't do much. You don't want to take down that Centurion or that Void Shield until the one-hit target's gone. So if you start swording him, he will catch you in his blinding move. So you want to, like I said, play the room a little slower. It works out in the end, benefits you. Be efficient with your ammo as well, just to make sure that you leave in each encounter with maximum amount of ammo. Just finish off the rest of the legionaries, and then we've got 1 Void Shield at the end. As you can see here, plenty of ammo, so I just want to use a heavy attack on him. Why not? And get my brick. Okay, so now this section, it's a perfect time to do a Well of Radiance. So I usually like to, you could do it anywhere really, anywhere that suits you, but I like to do it right here, as it causes, sometimes causes the Minotaur to push, which is exactly what I want. So I can just overload him in my well safely. What happened against me was this anti-barrier constantly focused on me, and he wasn't focused on the Vex. Usually he's focused on the Vex, but that time he was staggering me a lot, but it worked out in the end. So with there's 3 champions to deal with there. There's another anti-barrier, sort of use this hill as cover. I also like to leave 1 Cabal up, as sometimes the Goblin will fight the Cabal while I'm trying to take him down. Didn't happen too much, but you will, sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't. It's just an RNG thing. Once we've done that, we've got another Void Shield. Same again, we'll use a sword. Now with this section, it's the bomb section. Now this might cause probably the most problem on a solo for people. So this is an easy way to do it. And this will be relevant for all subclasses. You want to stand here, forget about capture point here. We forget about that. You want to get the unstoppable, stop him, and then sword him. Sword all these ads. You're pretty much safe as long as the Phalanx doesn't knock you into a wall, which can one-shot. Passive guard, which I forgot to mention, I have on my build, gives me a lot of damage reduction. So that helps out. But I just killed all those, and now what we want to focus on is the goblins at the top, since there's an anti-barrier. So as you can see, we've got 30 seconds. I've played this too slow to be honest, but it's still enough time to sort out most of the ads. So see how I kind of screwed with that, and so I just decided to take the plate instead. But usually you would take down the goblin. I could have stunned him with Erianas and then sworded him and then jump for the plate. But doing it this way, it just means that the timer won't start, like the timer for B and C, until A is captured, which they are timed. So once that's done, B is just an easy plate now, since we sort of dealt with B before the timer even started. Just an easy way to deal with it. It's longer, but it's way less risky. And we're on like what, 13 minutes, and the boss fight is around 4 minutes to deal with. You know, and you want to get the run done before 24, and we're nearly at the boss, so plenty of time to do things safer. So obviously we've got it well arranged. We've saved it specifically for C. It's just the best thing. It's just the best move to do. So sort all the ads. And what happened was, for whatever reason, the Vex Minotaur, which isn't an Overlord champion, okay, he's actually over there with the captain. So what I do is I put a bit of damage into him. When this, as you can see there, I get points. So I still got points and I put a bit of damage in him. That won't always happen. Usually what I was intending to do was do well of Radiance and sword the Minotaur. But it's worked out.
Final round.
So I picked up the turret, or the cannon, sorry, from earlier, since it's still up. And it's just worth using to save on ammo. Unless you've got a lot of green ammo knocking around. So basically you just want to do one shot at a time. You want to be careful, since the Modifier Scorched Earth, you do see a lot of nades when you're hanging around here. There's different angles you can take this boss from, 100%. Best way is to try and charge you. Do more damage while you're in cover. Now before you kill the boss, you want to tag as many ads as you can. I could have optimized this encounter even more, as you get more orange bars spawning, which they are at the back of him, which I didn't manage to tag, and they're worth a bit of points, but again they're not needed for this. As your main goal right now is to get to the boss as soon as and start with that.
You survived the prison of elders. Treasure waits below.
Also important as well, before you go past that area, to pick up any ammo. Take a note of any green ammo, so if it dropped on B or C and you're lacking for that, make sure you go back. It's worth the time to go and pick that ammo up and start this fight with
treasure.
You want maximum, you want as much ammo as you can, to be honest. It'll help the fight out. Same again with this boss fight, different ways to do it, different subclasses will deal with it, but on this particular run, I optimized or found a way on how to do more damage to the boss than you should without getting any ads to spawn. Since we don't want loads of ads, because we're nearly 100k anyways, we don't want loads of ads until we're going to pop a Well of Radiance, which won't be yet. So for now, we just want to kill the champions, whatnot. There's just two there. So they're pretty much easy to deal with, since they're fighting each other. So you don't want to waste too much ammo here. What we're doing is we're baiting out the boss so that he does his solar move. What basically happens is, once you do a bar of his HP, which you can easily do with Eriana's Vow, okay? what that will do is it will spawn in Cabal without Vex. It'll just say spawning in Cabal, which you don't want ideally. What you want ideally is for Vex and Cabal to spawn in. So what I found manipulating his HP was just do a little bit of damage. You don't want to do any more than 10 to 20%. You're just sort of waiting for him. I don't know the exact time on it, to be honest. But what you're waiting for is for him to do his solar move. Once he does his solar move, you can do a lot of damage to him and get him half HP, and that's what the goal is with this. So now we can do a lot of damage. We can also do a healing rift, so we can out-heal his move. You're best off not doing a solar nade there, just in case you need it for later, but I was okay. Obviously I had my well. So now, as you can see, we've done half HP. Not one single ad has spawned in, which is exactly what we want. Because when the ads do spawn in, which will be Vex and Cabal, that's when we can get more benefit from our super, as we can get more super energy. So now we do a well behind this pillar here, find its good cover. Even though your well can out-heal it, you still want to position your well behind this pillar so that when it runs out, you've got cover. Now if any time when your well goes, and there's still a lot of ads up, you want to crouch, and you see you one shot or something on another class and you can't out-heal it, crouch in that pillar, don't do a thing, don't shoot your gun, and the ads will forget about you because it's Vex versus Cabal. They'll focus on each other then, and then that gives you a chance to get your health. So what happened to me here was, as I ran out of primary ammo, which was annoying to be honest, I was also low on Erianas, which this is where we saw the shield comes in. You do want to take down this Centurion, since he'll jump up in the air and cause you problems. Okay, so there he was. You can take him out, and what we're doing here is we're waiting on our Well of Radiance. Okay, so now we've optimized the boss. There's going to be no more ad spawn. I think there's one more. I think there's a Vex spawn, I believe. Yeah, so there's a Vex and a Cabal actually. So this is the last spawn of ads that we're going to deal with. The idea of this strat is to get the boss 2/3 down to 1 HP, and then what you would do at that point is do a Well of Radiance on the boss and just sword him to death, which is easy to do. But right now, before all that, you don't want to do that before you've sort of cleared all the ads. This is the mistake I made, is that I just rushed it. As what you should do at this point is clear out all the ads, then do a well on the boss, as you want to stun lock the boss in your well. This didn't happen to me, which made it awkward, as I had to use Eriana's instead. You can do it this way as well, because Eriana's does a lot of damage.
Strategist. Time stalker of the Vex. The overloud.
At this point, it's kind of like you need to go for cover, as this fight should have been over, to be honest, if I'd done the strat that I was set out to do, like I say, just stun lock the boss in a well and kill him with a sword. But I rushed it. But if that does happen, something goes wrong, this pillar is your best bet, as you can see. As when you're hiding cover, ads mostly concentrate on each other rather than you. So now we've got a healing rift and we can finish off the boss. You don't need to kill the super bosses, of course, because we're 100k plus. So that's not needed.
What's your scam here, Christian? You always have one.
Anyways, that's a sort of
No scam.
a run showing you how to easily do it. You can do Devour Warlock, you could do Arc, you could do Stormfall, you could do everything. Any subclass to choose, whatever you want. But a well range is definitely safer than a lot of other classes, because of all the healing you've got class. But anyways, that was the run. Thank you.
Am I right?
I'm sorry.
You're the sorriest thing I ever saw.